Welcome to The Critical Angle. I'm Rick Beckett here with Lika Behar, and we're so excited to talk to her about her business and what brought her to be the designer that she is today. So Lika, how are you?
I'm great, Rick. How are you? So it's
Good.
an honor to be included with you today.
Well, I got to say, the last time we talked, we were trying to talk from Turkey, and we'll have some clips of that, but our podcast didn't quite make it through. But we were filming you in Turkey, which was so nice to see your studio. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I am so sorry that technology didn't cooperate that day, but I do have a full-time studio there where, in fact, I'm headed there Thursday again. I go 6 to 8, maybe 10 times a year. This is where I store all my stones. This is where all my design work gets executed into reality. I have 6 master jewelers, some office assistants people, some stone experts, etc., a CAD person. So we basically have our own little production facility, and their job is to take my drawings and make some sense out of it, and I guide them, of course. We collaborate a lot, and we put them into actual metal and stone.
That is so neat. I have so many questions for you about how you do this, but I guess one of the first questions before we jump into your jewelry, which is jumping out at me, there's so many good designs here. One of the questions I have is how did you get started? We covered this a little bit in our last podcast, which we're not able to air, but can you tell us how you got started in fashion in the jewelry industry?
Okay, well, I came through, as you know, I did not start this until I was 49 years old. So it's a third career for me, first being finance, second being fashion design and apparel manufacturing. Long story short, I was looking to do something different with my life because I was burned out from trying to compete with factories in China and everything big, everything. You know, if you made a mistake, it was big. It just was incredibly stressful. And this was in the middle of raising 2 very wonderful young men. You know, I have my children, thank God for my husband, but we'll get to that later. It was a suggestion of a friend who said, you always loved jewelry. Your dad did gold coins and estate jewelry. Why don't you try that? And I said, yeah, you're kidding me. I don't know anything about that. Well, it's never too late to learn. A number of GIA classes and scouring the market in Turkey and museums and inspiration later, I discovered, I feel, my true calling. And God was great. He made sure I was inspired everywhere I looked. 15 ideas came and I only could execute 10, and I'm not running out of ideas just yet.
Well, that's so neat. So your brain's probably like a lot of designers I hear about, they don't even sleep at night. They're just, designs are coming to them, and that's a really neat gift to have. Was it, how did you manage, growing this? Was it hard for you, or was it?
Well, it wasn't. I mean, nothing is easy, really. If you love something and you put your mind to it and you work really, really, really hard. I mean, I went door to door trying to show my jewelry. Took a lot of humiliation in the beginning, but that's par for the course. And it wasn't my very first trial in business life, so I didn't mind it at all. And actually, somebody suggested I show at the New York show, and I did, and the rest is history, really. The show opened at 10 a.m. By 10:15, I had written my first order, which is a miracle. And that's 2008, when the business was terrible.
Wow.
But this woman came up and said, I like this earring, but can you customize it for me? Well, what was I going to say? I said, sure, I'm happy to do that. And then, and then she goes, I want that and that and that. And I said, okay. And then we had a few.
The rest is history.
The rest is history. And And I mean, the jewelers are so nice. I used to beg to get paid in my prior businesses. In this business, they came, they said, okay, I want this and wrote me a check. And it was just the integrity of the people I deal with on a day-to-day basis just was a game changer for me.
That's fantastic. Well, show us a little bit. I have more questions for you, but do you want to talk a little bit about all this beautiful jewelry that you have in front of you? I mean, what do you have cooking over here?
Well, I mean, this is my latest, my last inspiration was all these matcha park leaves. I don't know if you can see.
We can also put a link to Lika, which we can show some of your pieces potentially, so people can get close-ups too. But, yeah.
These were, I was strolling in the park that I used to go and play when I was a little kid in my childhood neighborhood that I grew up in. And I found it was October. There were plenty of leaves on the ground, and I picked a few. And then I took one and I literally made it into in fact, I always wear it.
Oh, wow.
Like that.
Now that's what you call a cuff.
Yeah, it's a cuff.
That's beautiful.
Actually, I have it now with a mechanism too, which I don't have on me right now because I'm sold out, but I'm making more.
That is gorgeous.
So let me just show you the mechanism I'm talking about. I also make things like sometimes this kind of thing is too big for someone to pull off. So I make a more delicate version. So this is half the size. And here is the hinge.
I love that hinge.
Yeah. So it sits.
That is so good looking.
We're all typing today. So this is nice because it doesn't dig into my skin. I mean, something being pretty is one thing, but I want to make sure it gets worn and it gets comfortably worn. So
that is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, did you take the actual leaf and have to do a wax of a leaf, or did they just carve that?
The leaf had a lot more veins in its original form. And I did what I always do. I simplified it a little bit because otherwise you were going to have a mishmash where in the metal, the registration I wouldn't be happy with. So I turned it into a simpler, you see something in nature and then you want to express it, but you want to express it in a easier, simpler way, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like you're saying, it's comfortable, it's wearable, and you can wear it every day. You can dress it up. Your jewelry is so versatile in that aspect that you can wear it to the finest dinners, and you can wear it, and you don't feel bad about wearing it to the grocery store per se. It's just very versatile.
That's the whole idea, actually. I'm very cognizant of the way we live today, and we are a lot more casual, even in terms of business attire.
Yeah.
As well as how we, on a Saturday night, you go out with friends. You don't dress up nearly as fancy as you used to. I'm not going to say you still pay attention to how you look, but I am very cognizant of that. And this mixed metals where we blacken some of the silver actually translates very nice into what some critics call denim friendly, or
got it.
Wear it all day, every day, and it can easily morph into the night.
Do you feel like your previous job experience helped you to navigate the jewelry industry in terms of, you mentioned that the climate in the jewelry industry is a little bit better than other industries you may have worked at, or maybe the dealers that you're dealing with. Do you find that helped you catapult faster having prior?
Tremendously, because if you can trust, you can produce. If you can trust the person, you can trust the process. So it was a very personal thing, and jewelry is very personal. Everybody has their own specific way of expressing themselves with jewelry, and it's an expression of who you are, really, when you wear a piece of jewelry. It makes you feel good. But when you're dealing with people you feel very positive about, then of course the design process is a lot more positive. I'm just happy as a coach doing what I do.
How did you organize your studio so much, Lika? In that, when we were looking at in Turkey, where a lot of your jewelry is designed, how did you organize to know that I need this person to set and this person to finish? How did you know? How did you have the whereabouts to know that? How did you know that?
Trial and error. A lot of it, I allow every employee to make a mistake. Every team member. They're more than employees. We all make up a team. They would do anything for me, really. They're so kind and so wonderful. But having said that, I let everyone make mistakes. And the beauty of the jewelry industry is when you do make a mistake, you can melt it and remake it. You're not stuck with it like a pant you cut wrong and there's thousands of them,
Yes.
So it's really quite wonderful. And people kind of say, okay, then you'll begin to understand. Sardar is good at making rings, but Emre gets the silver rings real quick, but then he's slow with the chain. So I'll let Ahmed make the chain.
So it's really trial and error, and it's seeing where you're.
Well, I mean, when we came and interviewed, we did talk about their strengths.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And they'll show me their portfolio and who they work for and what they've done before, and it's no different than really hiring for any other situation. And if they're really not working out in that situation, I try to give them a lot of opportunity. We don't, knock on wood, and I hope I don't jinx it when I say this, but we don't have a humongous turnover.
I was going to ask you about that specifically because that was something that I noticed and I thought about for your business when I had visited in Vegas and things like that. And I always see a lot of the same core people, still your team, you're going back and you're saying hi to the same people. And I was going to ask you how you do that.
Well, number one, I am very sensitive to everyone's unique needs because they're human. It's not just what they do for me during the hours of 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or 9 to whatever. It is also, I love them as individuals. I'm cognizant of the fact that some of them have families and they'll maybe leave early, but then finish up the work after they put their kids to bed. I don't care. If the work gets done, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And that kind of flexibility, I recommend it for every employer in America. I mean, in retail, it's hard for you guys because the doors have to open at a certain time. But you can work within flexibility. Today, I think that's what everybody is.
Everyone wants it.
It's the most desirable feature of the job situation.
I actually think as a retailer.
I have the opposite. I have people that are on the clock and they cannot deal with this inflexibility. And initially they would be bothered by it, but I said, look, that's your work. I love that you're here during the hours I need cover. I love it. That's such a valuable thing you bring to the table. But you go home and Turkey might be still working like after a certain hour, like after midnight. And I might need something. And I'm not going to call you, but I know there's somebody else that left early that I can call because they're more on a flex situation. So
that makes sense. Yeah. Well, that's neat. I've always looked up.
And we have our own little diversity there of habits on call. And it's fine. It's fine.
I got to say, I got into this business. You get into this and you're thinking, well, I'm going to be selling jewelry or making jewelry and working with clients and things like that. But for the most part, I do spend a lot of my time working with staff. I would say, majority of my time, I would say is working with staff. And actually it's been really, it's something that gives back to you as a leader because hopefully you get to see people expanding in their own gifts and becoming better versions of themselves.
That's it. I think every every leadership we've taken at American Gem Society will teach you that you have to let the people bring their strengths to the table and motivate them to do so. That's what leadership is.
And lo and behold, they might be better than me at something, That's great. I mean, don't stand in their way, just let them flourish.
Oh, no. I mean, I 100% agree with that. There are so many people, like Paul is a better tech, Mary Beth keeps track of things a lot more, Dottie is a better stone buyer, Edda is a much better accountant than I am. Sardar makes a ring or makes a solder 100 times better than I can. Omar can plan production a lot faster, a lot better, more efficiently than I can. So I just bring my ideas to the table and get them motivated about making it work. And things sometimes they don't believe in certain things, and I insist on.
Sometimes you have to do that. Especially if you have a creative brain, you're going to see things differently a little bit. I think then we're all different, and if you have a creative brain that it has a lot of ideas, a lot of times you're going to have an idea that nobody's thought of, or might be a little different. But that's what makes you special.
Counterintuitive. I'm willing to. I guess you have to be a risk taker as an artist. You have to try things that are counterintuitive.
Yeah.
It sold last time like this. Well, they already have it. So what can you bring new to the table?
Yeah. If you had some advice to give somebody that was just starting out as a designer, or maybe wanted to get into that field, what would you tell them?
Never, ever, 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 ever give up.
I love it.
Keep work. I mean, it is as corny as it sounds. Just keep trying and get caught failing. Don't be afraid of failure. Failure is your biggest friend. It's your biggest teacher. A rejection from a store is your friend.
What a great way to look at it.
Says, "Oh, there's nothing I like here." Well, it's a learning experience. What did you learn from that?
Yeah. I would say, I think most people have a fear of failure. And then that can almost cripple you from just making any moves, really.
It does tremendously.
Yeah. How do you handle stress? What is do you have, I know you do some vacation time. I've seen some beautiful photos of you on bright blue seas, looking like you're having the time of your life. Is that one of the ways that you kind of de-stress, is kind of get away and do some fun stuff?
Well, both my husband and I, we love the water. We love being at sea. In fact, we always post, every year we post a picture that says, "I'm happiest at sea." So we do sail on small boats, not very fancy, but with good friends, good times, good food, that kind of thing.
And are you a cook, Lika? I'm sorry for interrupting.
Well,
okay.
I've cooked up. No, it's similar.
Yeah.
I'm also a little bit of a crazy cook. I'm terrible at following recipes. I'll follow a recipe for the first time, and then I have to tweak it. I have to change it. I have to adapt it, because I think it has to do with the fact that I'm easily bored.
Got it. I'm similar a little bit. I'm a little similar. I got to do something a little different or mix it up a little bit, just because I want to try something different most of the time.
Exactly.
So you when I see these photos of you, and this is kind of off topic, but sometimes you'll cook, it seems like, for large groups. I mean, you're cooking for, sometimes it seems like 15 or 20 people.
Oh, that's probably every other free weekend that I have. We'll have people over. My record was for my son's engagement. They didn't want to make a catered engagement affair. They just said, "Oh, we'll have a few friends over." And by the time the guest list came up to 100, I ended up cooking for 100. I'm not doing
Wow.
I had help. I mean, I hired serving and cleanup help, but I did all the cooking myself.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it looks like a 4-course meal, a 5-course meal, and it always looks beautiful. And I really respect you. You have a creative mind.
I always have extras because if somebody says, "Hey, I can't make it because my friend from out of town came," I am the type of I'll say, bring them over, and they have friends, bring them over too. I love it.
That's neat. One thing I could say about you, Lika, is one thing you taught me was the value of, personality. And I would say yours specifically. I've seen how when you interact with your customers, there's such an authentic relationship there. And you'll come to Eugene where we are, and I have a flock of ladies who just want to be around you, want to know what's new, want the latest and greatest. And I mean, they're lining up, and that shows so much about who you are as a person and how much your clients really mean to you. And I think there's something to be said for being authentic in this craft and making sure that you really do love people and you really do care about what they want. You're just not about the profit and the bottom line, but you actually care about the people.
Well, Rick, first of all, I am the one who needs to thank you for allowing me to come to a platform, to allowing me into your store to come and do what I love to do. That is a huge opportunity. And being associated with skis is a huge honor, huge honor. You're a Rolex dealer, you have amazing diamonds, you're it.
Thank you for saying that. We have a lot of things we're working on, trust me.
Reputation. You have an amazing reputation. You have the kindest staff, and you take each and every customer as if they were your most important customer. And that speaks volumes. And I'm honored to be associated with you. And I think I've learned that from you as much as we've talked.
We learned from each other, I guess. We just tried something and it was like, wow. I remember the first dinner we had with you. It was such a huge success because we had invited, 15 or 20 people, and we hosted the dinner. And the customers were so excited about your jewelry. I don't think we could wait until the store opened. They wanted to buy before the next day. Like they were so excited about getting your designs. So it's neat to see that.
Thank God for that, because I would not be able to make anything new if I didn't sell what I had. So I appreciate the support for my work and my craft,
Well, let me ask you this, kind of in closing here, Lika, is what's on the horizon for you? What's on the horizon for Lika?
Well, I'll be at skis in December for sure.
Yes.
But I am super excited about 2 trips that I'm hoping to go on. One of them is next summer. I plan or pray and hope that I can go to Africa to visit some gem mines with Gem Legacy. That's one thing. And
I'm looking into that too. Just working on my childcare, but I'm looking into that as well.
Okay. Well, I honestly,
we'll see what happens. It's closing quick though.
Forcing organization that is sponsoring a trip, and I can't wait to go on it. Another one is in the spring. It's actually earlier than that one, and the Indian government. I'm going as their guest, expenses paid, to a show in the Rajasthan area in Jaipur.
Wow, that's big time.
Yeah, to look at. I've been to India before, but not as a gem buyer. But I'm looking to get to know some of my suppliers and see if they can custom cut things for me. That kind of.
Oh my goodness, that sounds really fun.
So I'm really and both of these, my husband will come, so we'll make a vacation out of it. He's a jewelry junkie too. He buys.
Oh, that's great.
He used to buy me a lot of jewelry. Now he's like, "You're swimming in jewelry." That's okay. So I've been demoted to scarves.
I do love your scarves.
I can't believe I don't have one on today, but normally I do wear, because I'm always dressing in these dark drab clothes, and I figure a scarf brightens it up a bit.
Usually your scarf and your glasses combination are always on point. They're always just really good.
Well, it's easy when you stick to 3-4 colors that you know work well for you. I mean, that's my secret.
Well, I just want to thank you for just giving me the opportunity to learn more from you. And I look up to you, and I really look up to you. How you've plotted your course in the jewelry industry is amazing. And what you've been able to accomplish starting, at 49, I mean, that's huge. And there's so many more, life is so much longer now, I feel like, with technology and with, 49 is the new, 29 or whatever, because with health and technology and things that we're able to do, people are living longer and able to do more. And I think that, we have so many years ahead of us just to keep creating and seeing what happens.
And my secret to that is, if I'm able to do the crazy schedules that I'm able to do, the number one thing is I always take some time in between, even if it's half a day or a day of hibernating in my hotel room and just working on my computer, or just getting going out for a walk in a new town or whatever, or just take a day off in between 2 trunk shows. It's key. The body has to rest so it can think clearly, so it can be happy and outgoing and pleasant for the next day. You can't let yourself burn out.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
That's easy to do as well.
I have to do it.
I tell you what, I'll say this in closing as well, but I have been starting to take cold showers, and that's been like a new thing for me. And I know it sounds crazy, but it spikes some hormones that are really good for you, and it spikes dopamine, in a healthy way, and it helps you with some other things. And but finding out what works for you to reset yourself and to take care of yourself is something I'm learning within the last few months. And I will say it's been very, very, hearing that from you is just another person telling me, hey, make sure you take care of yourself.
I'm drinking celery juice now. That's bad.
Celery juice. I love it. You got to do what you got to do.
Makes me feel really great.
Well, you know what, Lika, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. Look at the jewelry that you have around you is exceptional, from turquoise to mother of pearl, high carat gold, and I love the oxidized silver. And then you look behind Lika, what does she have? Oh, I don't know, 1 million awards.
More like 40 some odd, like 46, I think.
Just awards. Keep counting. That's amazing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. And it's thanks to people like you who vote for me. Otherwise, I'd be nowhere.
Well, yeah. Well, you definitely deserve it. And I want to say just thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you soon in Eugene.
Thank you. And a big hug to Eugene.
Big hug to all the customers that love you, and big hug to you, Lika.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.